ball of light through the big dark tent up high. Here before and after me, shining down on me.
Yes, guys. Welcome back to another stream. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Smash up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you are new. Welcome in, Bray. Also, have you always had that thing on your microphone with the N?
Yes.
Really? I've never seen
Not always, but like the past 6 months, I'd say, yeah.
Oh, I've literally never noticed it until now. It looks cool.
There you go. It's because it blends in perfectly. This is the Lbins logo. It blends in perfectly to the rest of the surroundings. That's what a good logo should do, yeah. It's there, and yet it isn't.
No, facts. How you doing, Bray? Good?
Subliminal. Huh?
You good? You okay?
I'm brilliant, yeah. Doing great, thank you. Going to go to the gym today. It's going to be lovely. Going to make all the gains.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we have signed Donnarumma, guys. It's on a here we go situation. So it's not been announced by the football club yet. Apparently, he's flying into Manchester today and will be completing his medical. So make sure you're giving us your comments in the comment section about that. Are you happy with Donnarumma? What you're saying? And we'll put some of your comments up on screen, man. Listen, we'll speak a little about it. What I do today on today's stream, man, chat. Yeah, it's not really speak too much about yesterday. I want to know, I'm going to analyze. Well, we're going to analyze the signings that we've made, how the club has got to the situation where we're looking at it, and there's still people out here saying we need to sign like 5 players. We're going to look at the signings since the treble year, look at who we let go of, look at the players that we've brought in, and have an honest conversation about where we're at. You know what I mean, and what we actually need in this football club. But yeah, Donnarumma. You've had some interesting views on this one. What's your take? Are you happy with the signing or nah?
First thing to say is that he's now a City player, so I'll be backing him absolutely. I'm saying that very sincerely, by the way. I think if you're a fan, you don't back a new signing. I think you're weird. So I will be backing him. He has my full support, and I hope he does really well at City. All that being said, I still my concerns are still here, of course. I've voiced them many times. I don't know if I need to voice them again, but I don't think the squad has been. This is a conversation about squad building, isn't it? I don't think the squad's been built particularly well to accommodate a goalkeeper like Donnarumma. I will say that much. I tweeted about it yesterday. If you are going to have Donnarumma in goal, then it means one of two things are probably going to have to happen. You're either going to have to really like double and triple down on the midfielders, for example, dropping deep to help out with build-up. This is something that PSG did. Difference is that PSG didn't have a striker, so their number 9 could drop deep and fill in the gap in midfield. So we probably can't really do that because we've got Haaland on the pitch. The other way you work around it is you assume that you're just going to become a little bit more reliant on being good in the challenges, in respect to, like, you know, when like it's kicked up for like a long ball. You're just going to have to accept that you need to be a bit better in respect to like winning duels, being athletic in the midfield, being intense, and you're pressing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if we signed Baleba instead of Reinders, and if we signed, you know, Morgan Gibbs-White, these sorts of players, then that makes a lot of sense, I think, because you're signing players who are custom built for that sort of job. But that's not the sort of players that we have in the squad right now. So for me, I don't really get the fit, to be honest. I don't think the squad has been built with him in mind. I think there's a bit of a disconnect there. I don't quite get it.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I didn't get what you're saying. Graham Bailey's just put this out. Says, I know some fans don't think Donnarumma is a good fit, but Pep and Man City do not agree. They love him as a player and a person.
Yeah, well, I'd be very concerned if they didn't want him because they've signed him. I also assume that they loved the concept of Calvin Phillips and Jack Grealish and every single player they've signed, Vincent Kompany and Kevin De Bruyne. I assume they loved every single player. I'd be concerned if and Mateus Nunes and Kovacic and literally everyone. I'd be very concerned if my manager and club didn't love a player that they were signed. So that doesn't really mean anything to me. I'd hope that they would think that for every single signing. So that doesn't mean anything to me personally.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you are right. You are right. No, I mean, it's interesting that Pep feels that Donnarumma clearly has the ability to play with the ball. Otherwise, obviously, he wouldn't be signing him. But we'll find out. We will see what happens, man. But yeah, that is a here we go chat. That's where we're at with that one. The signing should be announced. Well, it has to be announced today because obviously the transfer window closes at 7 p.m. tonight. So they've got to get to Manchester on a flight and then get him on the medical. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But let's have a look at some of our transfers then since the treble year, man, because this is where I feel like we've started to go wrong, man. Yeah, and I'm just going to review the chat just while I do this, boys. Yeah, because for me, I think that when you look at this, what we're going to do now, I think you can really tell where we've gone wrong here, right? So obviously, won the treble in that year. So this is the first year after the treble, right? Josko Gvardiol for me, top class signing. Yeah, player that you're signing to come straight into the team. Yeah, this is not a squad rotator. You're spending 90 million quid. This is a guy you're bringing in straight to the team. Yeah. Then you bring in Matheus Nunes, Jeremy Doku, and Kovacic. What you got to do here, though, is look at who we let go. Palmer, Mahrez, Laporte. These players all left the football club. Now, Mahrez was not a starter, but he was good enough to start. He was a world-class player, so good enough to start. Laporte's a like for like. That's not too bad. And then obviously Cole Palmer, we should never have let go. But you didn't replace the quality of Riyad Mahrez. Yeah, you've not replaced the quality of Riyad Mahrez. Then obviously Gundogan left as well on a free transfer. You got Matheus Nunes, which is a downgrade. Like this is where I think the club. I've just let. This is why for me, when I say the club, I actually mean Tiki, yeah, because Tiki was in charge at this point. You cannot allow Riyad Mahrez to leave and not replace his quality, Lbins. You just can't do that. And you know, you also can't afford to let his output leave the door and not replace the output. And people do this thing of like, oh well, we'll just spread his goals across the team. That is the biggest load of waffle I've ever heard in my life when people say that. Just spread his goal across the team. That's not how it works, man. If you sell Haaland, you don't just go, oh, well, we'll just spread his goals across the team. You need to go out there and get a fucking big dog striker.
Yeah, I think
when we let Aguero go, we tried to sign Kane. Obviously, we didn't get him, but we tried to sign him, and then we signed Haaland. So you can't allow Mahrez to leave. Let his quality walk out the door. Let his goals and his assists walk out the door and not replace that quality. And what they did is they went and got Jeremy Doku because they obviously felt that, well, he'll be decent in 2 years. Well, we're here 2 years later and he still has 1 assist for Haaland and still doesn't score goals. So this is a major L, man. And the thing is that pisses me off is they had the player right there in Palmer and they forced him out the door. What are your thoughts on that?
No, because we're talking about this 23-24, aren't we, specifically? Yeah, the Mahrez one is it's hard because obviously like they were banking on potential, I guess, with Doku. And you could argue that obviously hasn't happened yet. But I would say that the more egregious signing, problem, concern, whatever, is actually the midfield.
Yeah,
the 2 midfield signings of Nunes and Kovacic. Now, yeah, mitigating circumstances. We tried to get Bellingham, we tried to get Rice, we tried to get Paquetá, and for one reason or another, we couldn't get all 3 of them. But the solution isn't to, and this is a panic buy, the solution isn't to panic and spend £50 million on Nunes, who, regardless of whatever you think of him as a right back, he was brought in to be a central midfielder, and he's never looked convincing in midfield. So he's a failed signing. Even if he turns into a really good option at right back, the purposes he was brought in as a midfielder, he's a failed signing. He clearly just wasn't good enough. But then you combine that with the Kovacic signing. Now, in a vacuum, that's not a bad signing because you think, decent squad option, whatever.
I agree.
But at that time, and it's sort of why I didn't really do an analysis video on Nunes or Kova, because I was like, what is going on here? I didn't really get it. They're just too similar in respect to their attributes as well. Like at the time, you're like, okay, Kovacic, a great ball carrier, Nunes, a great ball carrier. It's like, why have we signed both of these at the same time in the same window when we've just lost Gundogan and we were after all these other players? It didn't really make sense in respect of quality, and it didn't make sense in respect of what traits the players have as well. And to me, that was an error by the club, by Pep, whoever you want to say. So this is why when people say, just trust the club, just trust Pep, well, no, I think that was a bad decision to bring in Núñez and Kovacic both at the same time. If you're going to do, it actually would have been better if all options that summer were exhausted. It probably would have been better to have not signed either of them. Well, certainly not Núñez anyway, maybe bringing Kova as a squad option, whatever. It probably would have been better to just not sign Núñez and go again next summer rather than panic, get what was like, as I said, the fourth choice or whatever, like way down the list, and a player who has ultimately illustrated that he's not good enough to play in midfield, to the point that Pep said he can't play midfield because he hasn't got the brain for it, to the point where he's now being used as a right back. And even at right back, he's making calamitous errors once every other game, it seems, with his either on-ball work or panicking or decision-making. So I understand why you're upset with the Mahrez sale and the Doku arrival. I can half understand it because of potential. Maybe that's a bad thing. But what I can't justify at all is that midfield situation.
Yeah.
2024.
No, 100% I agree. And I agree in everything you said there. The Kovacic signing, I actually think the Kovacic signing was a good signing.
Yeah, that's fine. The
amount of money you brought in, you paid for him, you're bringing in an experienced player who can come in and do a job, who's won 4 Champions Leagues or whatever. This is a great signing for squad option. The problem that we had, because he didn't like Núñez in midfield, what Kovacic should have been was a squad rotator. He should have been starting maybe 20 games a season. Yeah, 20 out of 60, 20 out of 70 games a season, and coming off the bench last 15 minutes of the game. And, being that sort of older guy in the dressing room just to keep everything ticking along. Now, fair fucking play at Kovacic, because I actually think he's overachieved. I think he's actually exceeded his performance levels that I expected, especially, I think it was not last year, the first year that he come, actually.
Yes.
I thought his levels were actually a lot higher than I thought. Still probably not good enough for what we needed from that position and that role. But to be honest with you, he actually exceeded. That's not the problem. There's always a room for experienced players in the dressing room. There's always a room for those £30 million, 29, 30-year-olds who just play a few games. Yeah. But Núñez was a player that we bought at that price, at his age, to be a starter. And he is miles off it, with due respect. Yeah. Awful signing, and another waste of 50 million quid, whatever we paid. And this is why I get a little bit frustrated, Lbins, when I see that we had the opportunity to buy Bruno Guimaraes, for 100 million, and the club deemed it too expensive 2 years ago. Well, that's all well and great, but now you've spent 150 million pounds on 3 different midfielders in Phillips, Núñez, and Nico Gonzalez. And even though I like Nico Gonzalez, it couldn't lace Bruno Guimaraes' boots.
They're different tier.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Nico G's a good player. I like him. I think he can be a squad option for us. But Bruno G wouldn't have just been a squad option. He would have been a starting player. And a brilliant starting player. And I tell you what, as well, we would have had a much better chance last year of winning silverware if Bruno G was in the team when Rodri done his ACL. So that is just a shocker. So for me, you've let Gundogan leave. Quality player, obviously in that treble year, absolutely exceptional. Didn't replace him. Yeah, you've not replaced him at all because you got Núñez, and he doesn't play midfield. So you've literally not replaced him whatsoever. Well, you were kind of up with Kovacic, but again, that's not right. You let Laporte leave, Gvardiol in. That is the type of replacement that you need. That's a tick for Manchester City. You've done a really good job there. Mahrez left. You bought Doku. Yeah. Awful replacement. This is just not good at all. Because if you think about it, Jeremy Doku really is the Palmer replacement.
Yeah.
Because Palmer at the time was potential, even though I clearly knew the guy was going to ball out. Yeah. Palmer was potential. So you've let potential go in and you've brought potential in. So what you've actually done is you've said to a player like Riyad Mahrez, you're a top player, you can go, and we're going to replace you with potential. Yeah, and you've replaced him with worse potential because you had Palmer. So that was just an awful transfer window. And what pisses me off about this as well is when people go, oh, well, it's not FIFA, or, oh, you just want to throw money at it. The club spends so much money on these players. It's not like they're spending 20 million quid on these players and we're out here saying they need to spend 100 million quid. They spent 50 million on Nunes and 50 million on Doku. 50 million pound on these players. So allow that shit, yeah, when you go in, oh, well, you just want to spend money and get the best players. You could have got Kvaradona for cheaper. You could have got fucking João Neves for cheaper. It's not about the money. We're spending money. We just spent it badly. So that summer, absolutely horrific. And
but it gets worse.
It unfortunately does get worse. So let's move on to the summer after. So this for me, yeah, is where it's just bad. What you have to consider is we did win the league that year. However, we only just won the league with a Ballon d'Or performance from Rodri and a PFA Player of the Year from Foden. Now, in my view, if you have the Ballon d'Or winner in your team and the PFA Player of the Year, and they're two different players, you should be going, we were pretty comfortable. Well, we weren't pretty comfortable. We had to win the last 10 games of the season to win the league, and we didn't win anything else. So for me, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we won the league, but we were carried. It wasn't like a team performance. We were carried by basically Foden and Rodri. And yeah, there was the Kevin De Bruyne, cameos, and obviously Haaland done his bit and blah, blah, blah. But fundamentally for me, we were carried in that season by Rodri and Foden. So you needed to look at that and go strong. So again, let's play the exercise. Let's play the game to see where we went wrong. You let Julian Alvarez leave the football club. Yeah. World-class player, undoubtedly. And we didn't replace him. That is inexcusable.
Yeah, that we for this window, I remember doing like a video and I said like we need minimum 3 signings. We need like a versatile forward. So obviously because Alvarez is going. We need a Gundogan replacement and we need a right back. Those are like the 3 bare minimum signings that we had to make in the summer of 2024. Bare minimum.
Yeah. And
we didn't do any of that. We brought in Savio, who I like, and I think was and we did need to bring in a Savio in addition to this versatile forward. But yeah, so because we needed like a right winger, because in the season before that we won, our only like right-sided outlet was Kyle Walker. So we obviously need like a proper right winger there. And that's why Savio's brought in. So okay, that's good. But then thereafter, we still needed those 3 signings that I've just outlined. We're still waiting on a right back. It took us until the summer of 2025 to sign the midfielder to replace Gundogan. And what was the other position? Oh yeah, and the Gundogan replacement was Gundogan a couple of years older.
2 years older, yeah.
So and we should have signed the Gundogan replacement the season before. You go, okay, we tried to get Bellingham, tried to get Rice, tried to get Paquetá, couldn't do it. Okay, so we couldn't do it that summer, fine. Don't buy Nunes. This is the summer that you have to do it. Then, whether that's Bruno Guimaraes, whether that's João Neves, whether it was Reinders at the time, whether it was Palacios from Leverkusen, whoever, you get someone.
Yeah.
You just do. Obviously of the correct quality, but you bring someone in. Again, now if that means spending 100 million on Bruno, as we've discussed, or however much on João Neves, you just do that. And we didn't. Again, it's nearly impossible for that to happen, where there's such an obvious gap that's not been filled for 2 summers in a row. That's nearly an impossible thing to have happen for an elite club. And yet. But
the thing is, bro, again, like you let Alvarez go, right? So it's another Mahrez world-class style player. And how did we decide that we weren't going to replace him? Now, in the end, we got Marmoush, which this is the quality of player that you need to be looking for.
But
right?
it's a few months too late, though. That was the problem.
Exactly. It's 6 months too late, yeah? So that is an issue. But you didn't replace him. Obviously, Cancelo went to Al Hilal. Obviously, he was already loaned previously that. But you know what I mean? He's gone again. But again, he's quality in the side that you've still not replaced. And he was a quality fullback. Then you bought in Savinho, who, I guess you go with, well, we need another winger. But again, he's nowhere near the level of Mahrez. And again, it's a potential player. So you've let Mahrez go. You've let Palmer go. You bought Doku in, who basically you'd say is the Palmer replacement. And then you brought Savinho in. who nowhere near the Mahrez level. So again, you've not replaced him. You've still not replaced that midfielder, as you just said. In fact, you bought the midfielder that you've let go, but he's going to be worse. And actually, it's even worse than worse because the league has become more about pace and power since he left in the treble year. So he's going to be exploited. It's just that is just super. And again, you still didn't get a right back. We knew that Walker fell off. Yeah, Walker was falling off in the treble year. Yeah, that's why he didn't get played in the Champions League final, because he was already starting to fall off anyway. And then he's had a bad year. And then instead of saying, right, let's cut our losses here, mate, you've kept him and you've still not bought a right back. That is, again, really, really poor. Then we come to this season. Okay, and I feel like this season,
it started so well.
I feel like they've started to realise what's going on, but because of the damage that has been done, yeah, I just don't think this is enough. So, okay, let's analyse. So, Tijani Reinders finally have got the Gundogan replacement.
10 out of 10. Love that signing. Yeah, very happy.
Too. This is our top signing. He's in his prime, 26 years old. Midfielder Serie A of the year. That is the type of signing that Manchester City need to be make. Tick in the box. We finally replaced the Gundogan signing. Okay, let's start at the back. Right back. Kyle Walker. Have we replaced him? No. That is just shambolic for me. Yeah, I said it yesterday. There's no legitimate reason why this club hasn't bought a right back. There's no way you're telling me there's no better right backs out there than Nunes and Rico Lewis. Even if it's a short-term option. Where do you stand on the short-term option? Because I see a lot of people don't like short-term options. But for me, I don't see a valid reason at all not to go and get a short-term option when your current options are Rico Lewis and Nunes. If you had a decent right-back option, yeah, you know, like when we had Delph was not a bad left-back option, or even Zinchenko, yeah, I kind of get it a little bit more. Where do you stand on the short-term options?
A short-term option that's like, I guess it would depend on how much better they are than Nunes.
All right, let me give a couple names. Munoz, Palace, Olayena, Dumfries. There's 3 straight away.
Munoz, I think so. Okay, in answer to the question, it depends on which one, because Munoz I would be more than happy with. Someone like Dumfries probably less so. Generally speaking, I don't really want a short-term option. I don't see why we. I know your preferred option would also be to get a proper one. I just don't see why do we have to even have this conversation of get a short-term one? Why can't the club just go out and get a proper one?
Because who's out there that we can get?
But as you say, are people really telling us that there isn't one? I'm not being paid tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds a year to scout right backs for Manchester City. It's not my job. I'm not a scout. Just because I can't name the player, even though I can, Livramento, but even if I can't name like 3, 4, 5 players, it's not my job to name the players. It's the scouts who are being paid tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds, millions collectively, whatever. I don't know how much they're on, to put in the work and identify these players. Are we really saying that over the past, because we've needed one since 2023. Yeah. So are we really saying that there hasn't been one player in 2 years that we couldn't have gone out and got? Because it's not just this summer. That's the thing. I think that's like a trap people keep falling into. Well, who's out there right now? Nah. It's from the summer of 2023. That's when it first became relevant.
Facts.
It's not good enough. So I'm not going to accept people going, well, Lbins, name 3 then. It's not my job. I'm not a scout.
Okay, so I guess my point is...
I'm always having to go at you, by the way. It's just like people like in my chat or whatever when they say... But Lbins, who would you go for then? I don't bloody know. You can't convince me.
No, I agree. You can't convince me either.
Yeah.
I guess the angle I'm coming from is I'm trying to give the club the benefit of the doubt here. Yeah.
Oh, I've lost that. I've lost that.
Which maybe they don't quite deserve based off the last couple of transfer windows. But I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they're looking at the market and going, we can't see any right backs now that are in the prime years or whatever that are good enough. Okay, cool. Let me believe that's the case for 1 second, even though I don't fully believe it. I think the right back market is dead. But again, I think there's at least one right back out there that you can get, right? Okay, so if that's the case, okay, cool. The right back market's dead. What about a short-term option then? Just to plaster over the wound for a couple of years We can sort, the centre back out next year. You can sort the wingers out. And then maybe 2027, 2028, we'll then revisit the right back market. Hopefully it's a lot better. There's a lot of young right backs coming through. You all seen the Excel document that Bailey did. And maybe we go big for one of them in a couple more years. I guess that's the angle that I'm coming from, is if we can't get a right back that in their prime are world class already, is there someone that we can just get in to do a job for 2 seasons? And my answer to that is yes, there are actually shitloads of right backs that can do that. So why have we not done it? Why did we not go to Forest and go and get Aina for 20 million? Why did we not get Munoz from Palace for 40 million? Yeah, you're not a massive fan of Dumfries, but Dumfries at 15 million, even if it's just to provide a little bit of competition and shit, like 15 million euro. These are options that nobody can tell me would be worse than what we currently have. And this is why I don't get it. And that's why I guess I'm asking you about the short-term solution. Are you completely against it? Because I'm not against short-term options. I don't want short-term options everywhere in my team. Yeah, left, right, and centre. But if there's a couple of positions that you need a short-term option for, and I can understand it because the market isn't particularly strong in that position, then I'm all down for it.
Yeah, I think for me it depends. So sorry if it sounds like I'm avoiding the question, but I think for me it depends a lot on context. So if it's like another Núñez situation where you spend a decent amount of money and on like a big contract, and now you can't get rid of him, and there's a concern that it's not going to be good enough, and it's almost like a panic buy, putting a plaster over a stab wound, then I'd say no. But if it's sort of like the understanding of, okay, you're a short-term option and you're going to be here for like maximum 2 years, that sort of thing, and then we'll move you on, or we'll keep you and move on Núñez instead, then I could entertain it. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's poor, man. Like, we agree on that. Like, we should have got a short-term option if you can't get a number one option, which you should have done. Okay, so situation currently as it stands is you've replaced Gundogan from the treble year, right? But you've still not replaced your right back. Ryan Aït-Nouri, you bought in as a left back. Now, we never had a left back in the first place.
Happy with
and
that
you've still
signing.
got Gvardiol, and them two, I think, are going to be really good on the left. If you want a bit more solidness in your back in your left back position, you can play Josko Gvardiol. You want to be a little bit more adventurous, you're playing Ryan Aït-Nouri. So that's a tick in the box for me as well.
Yeah.
Okay, now you got to look at some of the outgoings on here before we speak about Turkey. You've let Kevin De Bruyne leave the football club. Okay.
Yes.
It's disputed if that's the right decision or not, but fundamentally, I think that it's not a disgraceful decision. Some days I think we should have kept him, but on the whole, I understand why we let him go. We brought in Ryan Cherki. Okay, we tried to get Florian Wirtz. I always said I think Florian Wirtz was the better option. I wish we got Florian Wirtz over Cherki as it stands, because he's a more ready player in my opinion. He's done it at a higher level than Cherki. However, yeah, Wirtz rejected us. That's the narrative I'm going down, because that's what I believe. And we got Cherki. Cherki's a good option. Yeah, he's obviously very, very talented player. He's obviously nowhere near the level of Kevin De Bruyne in his experience and shit, but I don't really see what else the club could have done here, because they got rejected. If you believe they got rejected from Wirtz, which I believe, I don't really see what else the club could have done. If you think that the club pulled out of the Wirtz deal, which was the official line, which I still to this day don't understand why City actually put that out, because I don't believe it, and I think it actually makes them look even worse.
Yeah, definitely fake news.
Yeah, but it's a stupid narrative to put out, because then people can legitimately question it and say, "Why the fuck did we do that?" I think this is an okay one. It's not obviously amazing in the sense that he replaces Kevin De Bruyne, but considering the circumstances, considering the talent level, it's a good signing. I don't look at this and go, it's a bad signing.
Yeah, I don't, because again, if we're excluding Wirtz because we know that he was going to Liverpool, he didn't want to come to us, I think that outside of maybe Baena, who is in La Liga and has now moved to Atletico Madrid, therefore that's a non-starter anyway, I don't think you could name another 10. If we're saying, right, we've lost De Bruyne, we need to sign a 10 to like try to not replace him directly, obviously, but we need something there given he's going. I don't think that you can name a more viable option than we have signed. I think that in the context of, like, as I say, the question marks of Baena wanting to stay in Spain, Wirtz not wanting to come here, I don't think that you could actually name a more viable option than Cherki. So I think that the club did everything they could. I think, to be fair, that's probably, again, in that context, and also the price as well. I know money, whatever, but I think given that context, to me, that's another like 10 out of 10. I don't actually know what we could have done better.
I agree.
And Shirky, to be honest with you.
I agree. I think that's a decent one. Okay, so you've replaced Kevin De Bruyne. I will put it in quotation marks because it's not like a like for like replacement in terms of here and now, but it's a good signing, right? Okay.
Yes, very good.
And you're signing goalkeepers to replace Edison. We've signed Trafford and we've signed Donnarumma. So I think they try to sign quality players, yeah, whether you think they're good enough or whether you think they fit the style, whatever. But fundamentally, they've spent decent money on some goalkeepers. Obviously, add Donnarumma to this list. What for me, what we've still not done here, yeah, there's still problems with this. So you've got a right back, right, which you've not replaced, and you've not replaced Mahrez. So you think you look at it and go, well, we've only not replaced two players. Well, obviously Grealish is left there for the treble year, but whatever. Yeah, that's three really, because Grealish actually was good in the treble year, right? It's not just three though, because on top of that, then you also have to look at players that have declined. Some of these players have declined due to form, and some of them have declined due to age. So currently, we've got three players in the squad that you've not replaced from the treble year. Yeah, Grealish, right back, Mahrez. But then on top of that, it gets worse because our centre-back options have declined massively, yeah, due to different reasons. Stones, you're probably looking at age. You're probably looking at fitness levels because he's never fit, so he's just declined a little bit from the treble year. And Diaz has also declined from the treble year. That's just a fact, yeah? So your two centre-backs are now quite a way off the level that they were at in the treble year. And now you bought some in, but you've not bought a big dog centre one in. You've bought in Gvardiol, but we still don't know whether Gvardiol's going to be playing at centre-back long-term or left-back at the moment. You know what I mean? It's still unclear. And even if you do, you've still got one other centre-back that you've not fully replaced. So let's go to four. Yeah, let's say Gvardiol's one of them. So we'll go to four. Yeah. Then you've got Bernardo Silva, who has declined since the treble year. Yeah. So again, what I'm trying to do is show the levels of the team is dropping. Yeah. So Bernardo Silva has dropped since the treble year. So you're down now to five players on the football pitch, which are now worse. Yeah. Due to either personnel or the drop-offs on the football pitch. Yeah. And then what else? Is that probably it? Five? No one
Something
else
like
had this
that,
down.
yeah.
So essentially what we've got is we've got five players in the team that are worse, yeah, maybe even more than what we had in the treble year that we've not replaced. Yeah, we've not signed enough quality midfielders. We've signed one midfielder that's good enough, yeah, in Reinders for the here and now. We need more players like this. And I just can't believe that this is it, man. I can't believe that the club is going into this season and it's just mad. Like, you need to sign more players, man. Where's the right back? Where's the quality winger? We still don't have a quality winger. Our winger options at this club is Oscar Bob, Doku, and Savio. And you know what as well, bro? The standards of the fan base then drop. Because I'm seeing on timeline, people raving about Doku like he's fucking world class. Yeah. People on the knees for Savio who wanted to go to Spurs who scored one goal. And it's like, what? What's going on, man? Do you know what I'm saying?
It looks like the club are, well, whether intentionally or not, the club have clearly decided to go down the route of potential, and in which case the only sort of like solution is time. And I'm not saying that's acceptable, but I think that is clearly what has happened. It's again, like, you look at the makeup of the squads, you look at the incomings, a lot of the incomings, and it sort of feels almost like this season is maybe being treated like a transitional year, because obviously we've brought in lots of new players, but also lots of young players. And because I was having a conversation with myself, as you do, and I was just thinking, like, what's the solution? You know, after like the Brighton game, like, why has that happened, and what's the solution with the squad and and like my conclusion was that the only solution really is time. And again, I'm not trying to say whether that's acceptable or not, but I'm just saying that is the reality. If you sign, more like project players rather than like ready-made players, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But if you sign a lot of them all at once, then you are sort of saying that we're banking on these players like clicking at some point and gelling in at some point, rather than immediate success, rather than win now. Does that make sense? So,
yeah, but why have they done
I'm not
that
saying that's
when
right or not.
the strategy that they've had over the last 8 years has been a different strategy that has worked, not just worked, dominated English football. Why on earth would you then change strategy and go down this route of buying more project players? I mean, look at this year. In 2017, 2018, the football club bought Laporte, Mendy, Walker, Bernardo Silva, Edison, Danilo. Guess what? We won the league. So people keep on replying to me on Twitter and saying, why do you think we would have won the league this year when we bought all these players? Why? Why could we do it? Well, we did it before. The reason we're not going to win the league this year is because we've not bought enough quality players. We've not bought enough Reinders. We need more Reinders style players. Midfielder of the year, Serie A, players in the prime. That's what we did in 6, 17, 18. And we were just forgetting that we've already done this before. How many players have we signed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players we signed in 2017, 18.
Yeah,
we won the league because they're better players.
Yeah, and I guess like some people may counter that by saying, oh well, to be fair, like players like Edison, Mendy, who else, like Bernardo, whatever, they obviously weren't the players they are now. They're obviously younger. They weren't like proven, whatever. I guess that maybe the difference though is those players were coming in. And Walker as well. Although he's not a younger player, but those new players were sort of coming into a side which, even though they hadn't won the league in a while, they were still coming into a side that had, like, sort of in their prime, Fernandinho, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, and Aguero, and Vincent Kompany, and they had all these amazing. There was like this amazing core of players that you could build around and like add to naturally. So you had like a nice sort of balance. Whereas you look like the makeup of this squad, and there's not too many of those players really, certainly of that level or age or experience, that sort of thing. So it's obviously a little bit harder for this City to like bed in those new players as compared to 17, 18, if that makes sense.
But does that not then make it even worse? Because you're buying worse players and putting them into a worse team.
Oh,
surely now it's even more important than ever to go and get the sort of players that we just read out on that list, because you're buying players to go into a worse team.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree, because again, like this side is so different to the one from last season, and it sort of has to be out of necessity. Whereas in 2017, it was just, as I say, we've already got the core. The midfield didn't change, really. It was still Fernandinho, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. So the midfield stayed the exact same. The front three stayed the exact same as well, actually. That didn't change. It was still Sterling, Sane, and Aguero. So the midfield stayed the exact same in respect to the starters. The front three stayed the exact same in respect to the starters. And even at the start, the centre-back stayed the same, because Laporte didn't come in until Jan. So actually, the centre-backs also stayed. The only things that changed were the full-backs and the goalkeeper. So even though we brought in a lot of players there, because that core was already there, spine, whatever you want to say, you didn't actually have to make that many changes. You just had to like add little things. We were, that was basically sort of like what Liverpool are now and have been for the past couple of years, where it's sort of like they can afford to, it makes sense for them to spend, 100+ million on Verts, because they already have that sort of core of great players. It's just about adding little pieces to it to make it more finely tuned. Whereas us, we're trying to make a cake. This is the analogy I always use. We don't need the icing sugar right now. We need like the eggs and the flour and that sort of thing. We need like the foundations and all that sort of stuff.
Have we actually bought the eggs and the flour?
No, but that's the question, isn't it? I think that's a big unknown. I don't know.
No, well, I don't know.
And I tell you, it's certainly not enough eggs. If we have bought the eggs, it's not enough eggs.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. That's where I'm at with it. That's the problem. I don't think we bought enough. Do you know what I mean? I think we bought the bowl and the mixer, but we ain't got everything else, man. You know what I mean? Like, and this is what I'm saying. I just look at the team and like, because you have to come up with a reason as to why you don't, if you don't think the team is good enough to win the league and the Champions League, which I'm looking at it and don't, I have to come up with a reason as to why. And I still look at the players and I think, I just don't think a lot of these players, I just don't think are good enough. Doku will be sold at the end of the year, 100%. Yeah. Savio is still completely unknown as to whether he's going to be good enough. Bob is still unknown whether he's going to be good enough. So that's all three of you wingers. Yeah. Bernardo probably not good enough anymore. Like, I still think he probably should be in the team a lot because I think we need someone like him in the team right now. But he needs replacing. Yeah, he's probably not good enough right now for the majors. Yeah, Nico Gonzalez is still a massive unknown. We don't have a right back. The centre back options are fucking weak.
Yeah, again, there's lots of I'm pretty sure the only solution is time / faith, basically, because there is a world where, you know, Kusanov is good enough and that sort of thing, and like Savio is good enough and Bob is good enough. But once again, like, there's a reason why I said in the summer, like, City are the biggest unknown in the Premier League this year, because I think there is a world, and I still think there is a team that of the players we have, I think there is a team there that can challenge for the title, assuming like fitness and whatnot. I do genuinely believe there is a team there that can win the title. But it is a question of, can the players hit the levels that I believe they are capable of, and can it all gel together? And as I say, it's not tangible, but can they all click as well? I do think we will see, to be fair, maybe towards like the halfway point of the season onwards, I do think City will look a lot better. And I do think that it will all of, like, quotes, come together. That's my current view on it. But the question is, will we be out of the title race by then? You know, will we like be so far behind the rest of the pack that the highest we can hope for is third by the point City actually figure it out? I don't know. So I am hopeful City will figure it out. I think we can figure it out this season, but it's just, for me, a matter of like when that actually happens. Of course, there's also an if, but I do think it's a when. And as I say, it's like, how soon can it actually happen?
I also think that, like, you need a lot of your key players to rise and stay fit.
Yeah, of course. That's what I mean. There's loads of unknowns and there's loads of variables, of course. Yeah. Even before we consider whether the new players like blend well. Like, you know, Foden looked good against Spurs, but like, can he maintain those levels? Rodri looked good against Brighton, but can he play like full 90 minutes, or is he going to have like a sort of like, because like Van Dijk's first season after his ACL was bad, for example. He was pretty bad that year. Is there a world where Rodri has a similar situation? Yeah, there's lots of unknowns, as I say.
Yeah, let me come to these chats, man. Big up to Rudy. Says, none of this matters. Liverpool got Isak. Yeah, I know. 130 million, isn't it? It's
yeah. I would just like, again, like, I guess it's more for Arsenal fans if we're saying that City aren't in the title race. But Liverpool getting Isak doesn't solve their problems. I would just say that. They were already very good going forwards. Like, the offense is not Liverpool's weakness right now. Their weakness is defensively.
Yeah, no, I agree. Big up Rudy. Big up Spartacus, who says, imagine the build-up with Huzanov, Diaz, Akanji, Nunes, Nico G and Silva winning loose balls in a physical battle. Hashtag 442 Brexit ball, Tony Pulis ball, says Spartacus.
Yeah, that's one of my concerns. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not even that, you know, this guy is a bad signing in isolation. It's just I don't get it given the makeup of our current squad.
Big up Amar said, it's all on Pep. He's blocked the rebuild in 24, says Amar. Okay. I mean, he did block the rebuild apparently, but I don't think it's all on Pep. Like, was he signing Nunes? No. Did he refuse to sign a right back? No. Like, you can't just blame it all on Pep, Amar. You've got to put it on the sporting director as well, bro. Like,
yeah, it's on the. There is some on Pep, but there's also some on the sporting director. There's some on the CEO, on like every higher up who is in that decision-making process. The scouts. I think it's on all of those people who are in charge of those decisions.
I just want to know why we've changed strategy and went for more young players. Like, who decided that? Who decided that, like, no, we're not going to replace Mahrez with someone who can get the same output and quality. We're going to buy Doku. Who the fuck decided that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who decided that?
I don't know.
We're gonna take an elite world class winger who gets output and G&A, and replace him with Jeremy Doku. I just said the Jeremy Doku thing. I want to know who decided that strategy.
Yeah.
Why wasn't there somebody in the boardroom going, hang on a minute, you want to get rid of a right winger who scores 15 to 20 goals in all comps every season, can provide assists, techie baller, world-class player with a young, risky player? Yeah. Well, why don't you just use Palmer then? Oh, no, he's not ready. All right, but Jamie Doku, who's played 3,000 minutes for Stade Rennes, is ready.
I think
you get what I'm saying? Who the fuck
also
decided that, man?
I think what's also funny is that after like a week, because clearly Doku was brought in to be a right winger, because we lost a right winger, we bring in Doku.
That's why Palmer wanted to leave, because we signed Doku.
Sure, yeah, he played most of his minutes off the right for Rennes, and his first game or two was on the right, and within 2 or 3 games it was actually now you're playing off the left instead. So yeah, there's lots of interesting things going on that I don't really have the answer to be fair.
Yeah. No, it's just wild. Like, who's deciding that though, Chart? Do you get what I'm saying? Nah, it's not fueling a Doku hate. It's not hatred. I don't hate anybody, bro. Yeah, love and peace and all that kind of shit. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm just telling you, he will be sold at the end of the season because he's not good enough. It's not a hatred thing. I don't hate the guy. I actually watched his YouTube channel the other day. I thought he's kind of a nice guy, bro. Yeah, I think he's a really nice guy. Don't mean I have to want him at the football club, bro. The guy ain't good enough. He'll be sold this summer. You mark my words. Yeah. But I just want to know who decided that. Yeah.
I like Doku, by the way. I'm still willing to give him this season, but of course, my patience is running thin. I will say that, but I still can see the value Doku brings. I'm not quite as far down the line as LB is, for example. But we're getting there, I think, for me.
It'd be nice if he got his second Haaland assist in 3 years.
That's not acceptable.
That would well, apparently they've now decided that they're going to work on connection in training after 2 years. So maybe we will get the second assist for Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland in the third season.
That's that GIF where the guy's helping with his computer. He's like, "Oh, I didn't think about that."
Yeah,
oh, God.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Who decided that? And then who decided on top of that to then buy Savio? I know why we bought Savio, because he's cheap, man. Yeah, because we buy him from a CFG team, we got him after price. We got him for like 28 million quid. That's the only reason we bought the guy. Yeah. And he got 1 goal in the Prem and then wanted to leave to go to Tottenham. Forgive me if I'm not like buzzing about Savio right now. I like the guy. I think he's a good player. But I think he's played on the wrong side, as you all know, in my opinion. But I ain't going to just start like loving the guy, man. He wanted to go to Spurs. Now to sit here and be like, yeah, Savio and that. Man. Do you know what I mean? Now I want ballers who want to be here, man. Yeah, I want players who want to play for this club, who are good enough and can prove that they are good enough to wear the shirt, man. Yeah?
Yeah, I think for me, Savio will come good. I think he had a good season last year. I still like Savio. I have faith in him that he'll have a good season this year.
I think he could. I think Savio's got the best chance out of him and Doku. I think he's got the best chance, man. Yeah, but he's got to be able to shoot, man. Do you know what I mean? He's got to be able to shoot.
Yeah, of course. That is the main area. Yeah, he gets into really good positions, gets lots of shots off, generates a lot of expected goals. But of course, the goals needs to increase. Absolutely, that's the one area. I'm hopeful that will happen because he is still a young, inexperienced player. I'm hopeful he'll have a better season this year.
Yeah. No, facts. Big up Paul, who says Palmer was the Mahrez replacement and we messed it. We didn't replace the old world-class players and the new ones haven't matched them. Needed Rodrigo, says Paul. Big up to you, bro. Big up Chicken Wing says, I'm always a positive person, but I'm now panicking. We could get an experienced lookman for cheap right now. Yeah, bro, I take him. I take Jared Bowen. Bro, there's loads of players I take right now. I just need better players, man, who can get me output, man. I'll be real. Because at the moment, it's Haaland or bust. Doku ain't scoring. Bob ain't scoring. Savio ain't scoring. Mint. All my wingers ain't scoring. Nice. So then it falls on the back of Haaland all the time. And then because he ain't finishing all his shots, which he should be finishing a lot more of them, yeah, then, you know what I'm saying? This is what happens, man. People start getting on the back of Haaland for missing chances when he's the only one who's fucking scoring goals anyway.
Yeah, this is why I'd start Marmoush more often than not, because he is a goal threat. And I think the sooner we can get Foden into that midfield, the better, because he's, again, his historically he's been a big goal threat for City as well. So yeah, to be fair, like this is what we were saying towards the back end of last season, wasn't it? Like we need more shooters in the sides. Haaland's a shooter, Marmoush is a shooter, Foden's a shooter. Yeah, we need them all in the team ASAP. That'll be my preferred starting 11, having all three of them in.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get goal scorers in the team, man. Absolutely. But then by doing that, are you then stifling the creativity for Haaland?
No, because Marmoush created 2 great chances for Haaland yesterday.
True.
And one of them was converted.
Yeah, no, facts. Big up Richard says, good stream, lads. I'm a gunner, and I reckon we're both already done. We'll take a miracle on momentum bottle draw for Liverpool not to win the Premier League. Yeah, I think Liverpool have got it on wraps already, bro. I'll be real with you, man. I just think they just look so, like, not solid is the word, but it looks so connected. Like, when I'm watching City, everything looks fragmented. Everything looks really difficult. Yeah, like, to create chances. Everything just seems like it's a real effort. Whereas I'm watching Liverpool and it seems smooth. And they've got the deficiencies, yeah, defensively, yeah, like full backs and that. Although Kirkes played really, really well yesterday. But they've also got one of the world's best goalkeepers in there. They've got one of the world's best centre-backs. So I just think that it's looking bleak, man. I think Liverpool could win it by a canter. I didn't think they would, but man, like I think
I'm not willing to give up yet because it's only 3 games in. There's no doubt that Liverpool are the favourites, obviously. Like clearly they are. But I'm not willing to give up yet because we are only 3 games in. So
I don't want to give up. I just feel mad deflated.
Oh, I feel deflated as well, yeah, but I just refuse to accept that it's already over, that's all.
Yeah, big up Loz says, Nunes, Lewis, Gundo, Cover, Doku, all not the level. Also big questions over Diaz, Savino, AK. Also adding the other pensioners and injury-prone people, says Loz. I've been saying a while, I think there's a lot of question marks over City this year. And we need some of the other players who've been here a while to step up, man. Yeah, but there is. Yeah, we need to get ruthless, man. You can't be keeping players who are not good enough. Yeah. And Nunes and Lewis, your 2 right backs, is a crime, man. I'll be real. Big up to you, bro. Big up to ALX says, Liverpool's weakness is defence, but VVD is a colossus, says ALX. Facts. And apparently they're going to be getting Mark Guehi, apparently 35 million. So that's going to strengthen their depth in the centre-back area. Still pretty weak on the right-back, full-back from a situation, but yeah, that's where we're at with that one. Big up to Marco, who says, Pep is my GOAT, but it's time for him to go, says Marco. And Farid says, LB, you realise now Savio over Bob any day.
I think Bob's played quite well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not willing to say Savio's better than Bob at the moment, but it's a mid-off anyway. Like, Bob should not be a starting winger for Manchester City. I like Bob. I think he's mega, but he shouldn't be starting week in, week out for Manchester City Football Club.
No, and I wouldn't be starting him, to be fair. Like, everyone knows like what my preferred situation is. I'd rather have Cherki play where Bob is generally, but like Cherki's injured for 2 months now, so it's not relevant.
Yeah, he's injured for 2 months. Foden is missing in action.
Well, that was interesting. The wording was interesting there because that gives me a bit more hope because Cherki was described as injured, but Foden was just described as not fully fit, which is obviously not the same as saying injured. So that gives me hope that he'll be fine after the international break. Otherwise, why wouldn't you just say he's injured if he's injured? That's a very different.
I don't know, mate, but we need
wording.
Fucking Foden, yeah, to get back here now and start performing at the top levels, man.
We saw it for a few minutes against Spurs. I think that is going to happen this year.
I need more than a few minutes. I need him to get back in this team week in, week out, 90-minute drillers and carrying this team, man, because we need Foden. City need Foden at his top level.
Definitely, yeah.
Back in the side, man. Yeah, and these little injuries and that.
The sooner he comes back, the better, because we know that we are a better side with him in the team. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and especially now Cherki's dusted for 2 months. Yeah, like we need him in the team, man. Our next 2 games are United and Arsenal. Well, the last 2 games we lost last year and we lost this year, so we're not showing any improvement there. And the next 2 games we lost last year, and they're against top 60 teams traditionally, which we have a stinky record. We ain't winning the next 2 games. We'll get beat off Arsenal at the Emirates. Absolutely no. I have zero hope whatsoever, Nobbins, yeah, that we're getting even a point in that game. We'll get beat off Arsenal. So you better hope we beat United, mate. Otherwise, we're going to be like 10 points behind the title challengers after 5 games.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. And Foden always plays well against United as well. So, yeah, we definitely need him available. There's now an international break. So that's it's 2 weeks, isn't it, until the next game.
Yeah.
And he's obviously not been picked because he's not fully fit, whatever. So hopefully he will be back, because again, we know we will look a lot better with him in the side. Like again, we saw it against Spurs. The midfield just looked so much smoother and cleaner with him in it, and Rodri in it as well, obviously. So hopefully that will happen sooner rather than later.
Facts. Yeah, this is a possibility, bro. This is what I'm saying. This is why it annoys me when people go, oh, well, it's only 3 games. Calm down. I'm like, you are someone who doesn't know our record against the top 6. If you say that, you don't know our record against the top 6 in the last 2 years. You don't know it, because if you did know it, you wouldn't be saying that. 6 wins in 21 matches against top 6 teams in the last 2 years. And the next 2 teams are top 6 teams. Yeah. And I'm meant to sit here and be like, yeah, we're going to win them both. Yeah, what the hell, man? Statistically, we ain't winning them both. Yeah, we not beat Arsenal in 2 years.
Yeah, I think best case scenario is we get 4 points from those 2 games. That's probably best case scenario, because we're not winning at the Emirates. Like that's
we haven't.
Not. I don't think that's going to happen. It's too early for because City clearly aren't up to it yet. We should. Again, I know it's a should. We should beat United at home. Like we just should.
We should.
Yeah. Again, emphasis on should. And again, I think the best we can hope for is probably a draw at the Emirates. I think, and that would be a decent result, to be fair.
Well, what would that lead us on in points? We would end up
7.
on 7 points.
Yeah. And we'll have played Spurs, United, Arsenal.
So we'd be on 7 points, and Liverpool will be on who they got in the next 2 games. They
might be on 15.
Burnley away and Everton at home. So they're probably winning both of those games. So yeah, that'll be at what, 15?
If it's 5 games in, yeah, because they've won all their games, haven't they?
That's less than ideal. But if you can get 4 points out of the next 2, I do think you'll probably like lift the fan base a little bit and lift the morale, because
you've got a derby win will do a lot, definitely.
You've then got to then put a run together after the Arsenal game of like 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. Like that's just what you've got to do, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we're at with that one.
Hey, we need. I don't know what our games are like after that, but yeah, a run is.
Yeah, we've got like Burnley. We've got 3 winnable games, and then you've got like Villas and shit like that. But the 3 games after the Arsenal game, you should be winning all 3 of them.
Yeah,
you should be.
No, definitely.
You should be, man.
For sure.
All right, and boys, big up to you, man. Big up to Alex, who says fans need to realise that the current situation we are due is due to multiple factors, which include poor recruitment, aging squad, pep tactic. Yeah, bro, I think it's a whole package. Bro. I agree. I think the recruitment is the number 1 factor. I don't think we've bought good enough players. Simple. Yeah, I always say, bro, I always go to the most simple explanation. Well, the simple explanation is our players on the pitch are not as good as they once were. That's a simple explanation. I look at the evidence and go, well, we let Mahrez go. Who did we replace him with? Downgrade. We let Gundogan go. Who did we replace him with? Downgrade. We've let Kyle Walker go. Who did we replace him with? Downgrade. Like, it's the easiest solution is to come up with the players are not good enough. Then you add into the fact that, yeah, the Premier's changed a little bit in the last few years to P&P, and we've really not adapted to that. And then, yeah, Pep probably needs to be doing a little bit more to protect the team. Like yesterday, yeah, I think at 1-0, yo, Yusuf, I'm going to have to ban you, bro, because you're just being annoying. Yeah, like at 1-0, second half, I just think for me, like Pep needs to be doing a little bit more with his alterations, tinker around with the team, because we were getting, people keep on saying to me, oh, the game changed on the penalty. No, it didn't. It changed as soon as we walked out on the pitch in the second half. We were shit as soon as we kicked off in the second half. It wasn't the penalty. That penalty was coming. They deserved a goal the way they were battering us. Yeah. It got even worse after the goal. I'll give you that after the penalty. But we were bad soon as the second half kicked off. So that's where I think Pep needs to be looking at that going, right, we're 1-0 up here. We're getting cooked. Let me do something. Let me make a sub. Let me change the system. He didn't. It then goes to 1-1. We still don't react. And then we react and it's too late. So that's where I think Pep needs to do better for me.
Yeah, I'd go further. I wasn't happy with the first half either, to be honest.
See, I thought the first half was good.
No, that's fair. I thought that we were better against Spurs. I'll be so real. I was not particularly impressed with that first half. I know that we were defensively fine, whatever. I didn't think it just. I don't think it It didn't inspire me with any confidence at all. It didn't feel like we were generating as many high quality chances as compared to like that Spurs game, for example. Haaland missed that one, fine, but Haaland can't be expected to put every single chance in the back of the net. That's just unreasonable. And again, defensively, we're fine. But yeah, as you say, second half, all Brighton did was they just like up the intensity a little bit. We couldn't handle it. I don't know what Pep was doing with the subs. I get it. He was like a bit limited in respect to like the offensive players he could bring on. Like he didn't have Savio, didn't have Shirky, didn't have Foden, whatever. But I don't know why you're taking off Marmoush. I don't know why you're leaving Bob on when he was clearly spent. I don't know why you're bringing on O'Reilly when if to playing like the midfield when we're sort of getting bullied a bit in the midfield and what we need like there, if anything, is like more like experience and that sort of thing. And I didn't like the subs. I thought they were a bit shit, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, that's funny actually. The Pulpit tweeted before the game and said, what are people moaning at with this starting 11? And I said, well, not the starting 11, but the bench. The bench was bad. Yeah, it was a bad bench. Offensively, we were fucked. It was Doku or bust. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, like it's not Pep's fault that Foden, Shirky, Savio aren't available, whatever. But you still, I still think you could have made better subs. Like if you're going to bring on Doku, okay, cool. Take off Bob then, because you can't take off Marmoush at that point because he was arguably our best player on the pitch. Could have had 3 assists, and he was the only player really able to like match the intensity of what Brighton were offering. Whereas Bob, as I say, was dying. I don't think he really did anything of value like after the 60th minute and that sort of thing. He needed to come off because he just like physically wasn't there fitness wise. So that was a madness.
Yeah, no, facts. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I said this yesterday. I don't think Rodri's happy, mate. I'll be real with you. I don't think he's happy with the situation. You know, reading his comments yesterday, I think he knows this squad has declined massively. And I don't think he's happy, bro. I'll be real with you, man.
No, he's a winner, isn't he? Like,
he's a winner.
We all know that.
He ain't winning dog shit this year, man. And I think he's annoyed, man. If I was Rodri, yeah, he needs to get in that fucking. He needs to go knock on Viana's door, yeah, and say, listen, yeah, I want fucking ballers next summer, yeah. If I was him, I wouldn't sign a contract. I'd say I'm not signing a contract with you, yeah, until you sign fucking ballers and put it on the club and say, don't be signing no projects, man. I want to be winning Champions League again. I want to win the Ballon d'Or again. And with respect, I ain't doing that with some of the players you bought. So I ain't signing a contract until you buy me ballers next summer and put it on them. Yeah, that's what I do, man.
Do that thing like Football Manager where it's like, I'll only sign a contract if you like invest in this position. It's like only if you invest in right back. He'll do that. He'll pull the old FM card.
Yeah.
And he'd be within his right to do so.
I just think he's tired of it. Like he watched it all last year. He watched the shit that unfolded and watched us sign 3 players, and he's probably looking at him going, nah, this is madness. You got to remember, Rodri's a very, very smart person. Very smart. Like you can tell when he speaks, he did the uni thing and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? He's very, very smart. And he wants to win. He wants to win trophies, and he probably wants to have another crack at the Ballon d'Or, man. And he knows he ain't going to do that with this current team, mate. So Rodri's not in a position to moan. Yes, he is. Yes, he is in a position to moan. He's our fucking best player, mate. Of course he's in a position to moan. Absolutely.
He's just come off an ACL and he looks like $1 million. So
he just come off the ACL and again forced to play 90 minutes yesterday because we don't have anything else to play in that position. If Rodri's not there, we're fucked. So again, yesterday, Pep said it before the game as well. He's not going to play 90 minutes, but because the team can't get a win against Brighton, he has to play the full 90 minutes. And he's probably sick and tired of it because he remember, this isn't the first time he's had a pop. He said this before when he said, the club need to get me some support. I can't keep playing all these matches. They didn't get him support. He then did his ACL. He's come back. And the first game he starts, he needs to play the full 90 minutes because we don't have anybody in the team that can do his job. And because that's it. He's probably thinking, you're taking the piss. You're flogging me here.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
So I don't think he's happy. I think you guys frustrated, man. Now, that doesn't mean he won't sign a contract. Maybe he will. But don't be surprised if he doesn't sign a contract, man, until next year when we get new players. Because I don't think the guy's happy, man. First game too, back off an ACL injury in the Premier League, and we're starting him 90 minutes. That's bizarre, man.
Yeah, again, I understand there were limited options, whatever, but like Nico is there.
Nico Gonzalez.
Yeah, exactly.
But clearly Pep don't like Nico Gonzalez enough because otherwise he would have said, no, Nico Gonzalez can do that job. Yeah, Rodri, you're only having 60 minutes. Come off, Nico Gonzalez on. He didn't even put Nico Gonzalez on the pitch yesterday.
No, that was crazy. That was mad. Bernardo probably should have come off for Nico.
That's what I said. I said at the time you should have probably brought off Bernardo for Nico G.
Yeah, a bit
But
more
then,
experience.
Then what do you do? What would you have done then with Rodri? I don't know. Anyway, I need to get on Saeed's channel. Big up to Vish. Says LB Foden can't perform. Imagine the meltdown. When Foden can't perform again, like you're not going to win anything. You need your Rodris. You need your Haaland. You need your Foden. You need your fucking Diaz's. You need players who've been there and done it to get back to world-class levels if we've got any chance of winning.
Yeah, we need everyone to perform.
Rodri.
This is a team game. Like, it's not all on Rodri. It's not all on Foden. It's not all on Haaland. There are 11 players on the pitch at the end of the day. We need everyone to perform.
Facts, man. Bill Reese says, Ake, Ortega, Gunnar, Akanji leave. Also, where is Calvin Phillips?
He's a myth, man. I swear he doesn't exist.
No, it's crazy, bro. It's actually wild. 3 years left on his contract, Reese, man. It's mad. Another player that should never have signed. But anyway, listen, we'll leave it there. But yeah, listen, it's the proof is in the pudding, man. Yeah, I'm not having it like people going, oh, people wanted a rebuild. This is what you get. No, it's not. You get this because we've not bought enough good players. That's what it is. Yeah. If we bought better players this summer and more players this summer, we wouldn't be where we are. We would have bought a top class right back. Yeah. If we would have bought another midfield, if we would have bought a quality winger. Yeah, the reason that it's going to take time is because we've not bought enough quality players and we've got too many young players that we now need to develop. And when you've got young players, you've got to get inconsistent performances because they're young. That's what happens. Yeah. So anyway, big up to you guys. I'll be back later on. The transfer window deadline, I'll probably go live at about 6-ish, something like that, or 5. I don't know. I'll just get back from the gym and then we'll go live straight away. So I'll come back later on. The transfer deadline day ends at 7 p.m. UK time. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Lbins' channel. Right there, L Lbins, make sure you go check that out as well. Do you have a Donnarumma video coming?
There will be one coming. It won't be soon. It might earliest it'll be this weekend, but in the interim, I will have a match analysis of the Brighton game. I'll be talking more in detail about like why the second goal was conceded in particular because of the tactics. Yeah. I will have an Ask Lbins, a Q&A video, and yeah, like this because it's international break, isn't it? So I'll have time to work on the Donnarumma video. If you don't like my honest opinion, then I would recommend you don't watch it. So.
Okay, so you like people lying.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Cool. All right, boys, big up to you, man. I'm going on Saeed's channel. I'll probably get getting cooked, but I won't be putting up a defense, by the way. So don't expect me to be on that show and defending City and defending our club because I won't be doing that. I'll just be taking the cooking and then waiting to cook George. Because he's a Spurs fan. I'm waiting to cook Dan Potts because he's an Arsenal fan. So I expect me to be on there now defending the fucking club on that. Yeah, because I can't say anything. There's nothing to say. Yeah, I just take the L and we move. Yeah, that's what it's about. Right out of here. Peace out. Smash the likes on the way out, guys.